Good evening. My name is John Lancaster. I'm a 28-year resident of Oakland, a contractor, a father of a 6-year-old, and a member of the CLPC. Our group was founded in early June of this year with the goal of impartially gathering data through the use of a short but insightful survey, demographic data compiled from the most recent census and real estate data, info given to us by Mr. Montes de Oca and his staff at OUSD, and meeting with, or at least trying to meet with, each of the OUSD school board members and conferring with Beth Ryan, the principal at Crocker. Thus far, our group has met numerous times with not only David Kakishiba, but also Mr. Montes de Oca and his staff to try to get a sense of how we got here and how best to deal with a school already at 100% of capacity before the boundaries were changed. We have also met with school board representatives Noel Gallo, Gary Yee, Jody London, and other OUSD staff members. Additionally, City Council Representative Pat Kernigan has offered her support. Part of OUSD's mission statement, as I'm sure you all know, is to support sustainable neighborhood schools. In order for that to happen here, there must be and appears to be an honest, good faith effort on both sides to impartially analyze and interpret the data that is collected. Moving forward, CLPC plans to use the services of a professional demographer to review the data that OUSD used to assess the viability and impacts of last year's boundary expansion. Additionally, this demographer will be working closely with Mr. Montes de Oca and his staff to see if OUSD's data jibes with the data that we have gleaned through not only our survey, but also a large amount of previously unstudied demographic data. What we all know is that there's something wrong, and the task at hand is to figure out how to fix it. All of our children deserve that from us. That's what we've been entrusted to do by them. So I say, let's get to work. Thanks for your time.
Hi, my name is Jason Volpe. I'm the father of a kindergarten student at Crocker Highlands, as well as a preschool student who hopefully will be going to Crocker Highlands in the coming years. I'm a member of the CLPC as well, and just wanted to speak briefly to the data piece that both John and Yolanda have touched on. My work professionally is as a commercial real estate broker working for a worldwide commercial real estate services firm that provides a wide range of services to Fortune 1000 and other companies. A few clients are Yahoo, Microsoft, Oracle, and others. And the point is to just say that we have access to sources that companies like these rely on to make extremely important decisions around their real estate, their employees, and things of that nature. In our discussions with Mr. Montes de Oca, it became clear that there was a data gap as it relates to the specifics of this situation and what was evaluated to make this decision. We recognized that there were 19 schools or more than that were implicated, and that deep data dives can't necessarily be done in each and every instance. But we thought that given those circumstances and given the oversubscription issue, it was critical to the process to have access to a more complete set of data. And so what I did was I engaged people within my organization to evaluate using the resources that we have available to us, which are the elite, sort of the most expensive for that matter, and high-powered demographic softwares that are available. And without going into details about what we determined, I'll just pick up a few relevant statistics. In terms of households, there's 93% as many households in the area added to Crocker as in the Crocker household. There's 65% as many people, and maybe most relevantly, there's 107% as many children ages 0 to 5 in the new area that was added to Crocker as what was in the old area. And so I think that speaks to why this group is so energized and so concerned
the speaker's time
about the demand in the future years.
Good evening. My name is Dahlgren Lancaster. I'm the mom of a first grader at Crocker and a member of the CLPC as well. I'd like to begin by thanking the board for your tireless work that you do. I can certainly attest to the fact that I have a newfound respect for the complexity of the issues and the time in which it takes to tackle them. And thanks to my community for turning out during a Giants World Series game. It's awesome. Our findings thus far greatly reflect Board Member Kakashiba's rationale for the legislative action. We understand that OUSD made the best decisions that they could given the lack of resources and time that they had in which to make them. It is not surprising then that in such hasty situations, some unforeseen consequences result. It must be noted that the unforeseen consequences of compromising an Oakland public school success story, such as Crocker Elementary, ripple much farther than within its own boundary. The feeder middle school, Edna Brewer, suffers along with local high schools, as previously committed families to Oakland Public Schools are forced out because of frustration and uncertainty at the elementary level. Even within Crocker's new boundary area, every child's chance of being admitted into the great school that is served to them, that is supposed to be, is decreased so much that it can no longer be the family's first choice. It begs the question then, did the boundary change really help any group of people? Or did it really do anything for the greater good? I think those are important questions to ask. We believe, however, that there is a great opportunity here for OUSD and the schools it serves to create a win-win situation. Number one, the resulting unfortunate outcomes at Crocker present a wonderful opportunity to leverage the commitment, expertise, and resources of community members to make Crocker and other neighboring schools in the district even better than they were prior to the boundary changes. Number two, there are excellent public schools nearby. We hope that the oversubscription of Crocker can help mitigate the under-enrollment.
The speaker's time has expired.
Together, we can all make this better. Thank you.
My name is Tara Montanez, and I am a mother of two who will be kindergarten age in 2014 and 2016, and I also live in the Crocker neighborhood. I personally got involved in this issue when I found out that 18 of my neighbors and a number of my friends were rejected from kindergarten at Crocker for the fall of 2012. Luckily, a solution was made, but I was at the meeting where that fourth classroom was addressed, and I asked what we could do as a community to have this addressed for future years. The feedback that I got from David Montestoca and the other members who were there was that folks should write letters or make phone calls. But knowing that people, even with the best intentions, don't necessarily do this, I started a petition for the Crocker neighborhood. This petition has received over 350 signatures, both online and offline, and I have brought a copy for each of you. I hope you don't mind if I pass this along. The same results were presented to David Montestoca on the June 4th meeting that Matt was referring to, but still no changes have been made and no plan has been put into effect for next year's class. The language of this petition states that Crocker is a school traditionally at or near capacity within the original district boundary, and as a result of the redistricting, it appears it may be chronically over capacity. We understand the OUSD had no choice but to make the school districts to change the school districts as a result of the closures last year. And we all want families to have the opportunity to attend their neighborhood schools. However, it appears that Crocker District was required to take a heavier burden than other neighborhoods with the redistricting, as 8 families from our district were turned away, yet there was space for 18 at Cleveland, and there appears to be room at other schools as well. Please listen to the voice of this community and vote yes on the matter being raised by David Kakashiba tonight to reduce chronic oversubscription of kindergarten seats within the Crocker Highlands boundaries. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your work on the board.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan S Nura, and I think I may need a police escort once I finish with my statement. I live at 573 Kenmore Avenue with my wife and 20-month-old daughter. We have lived in our home since June 2007. Our home was previously located in the Lakeview District and is now in the Crocker District. In December 2010, the San Francisco Chronicle published an article titled "Top Students Fleeing Oakland Public Schools," detailing the flight of students out of the OUSD system after elementary school. In my neighborhood, the issue is more extreme. I live in a pocket of Oakland where children have rarely been enrolled into OUSD, even for kindergarten. We bought our house from a young couple with 2 children who moved to a neighboring community in order to enroll their children into better performing schools. We befriended our neighbors, a young couple who have had 2 children since we met, A little more than 1 year ago, they moved to Walnut Creek because they sought better school options for their eldest daughter. Neither of these couples wanted to leave their home, their community, or Oakland. There are 40 addresses on Kenmore Avenue, 5 with families consisting of 6 children under preschool age. Each is concerned over the uncertainty of the current climate, and each would consider moving or enrolling into private schools if necessary, but each of these families wants to be part of OUSD. We are here due to outrage resulting from the assigning of 18 children living in the Crocker district to neighboring Cleveland Elementary, one of Oakland's top performing schools. Crocker ultimately opened a 4th kindergarten class to accommodate these children, an additional class that apparently cannot be sustained in subsequent years. But last week, I called Crocker and learned that there were 80 children enrolled on opening day, and I was told under OUSD policy this would only require 3 classrooms, not 4. So I find this argument unpersuasive and would recommend that OUSD and the school board investigate further. I would also like to caution OUSD and the school board against the reliance on data resulting from the local survey, which was largely left to surveys on Crocker Highlands Elementary website and Yahoo chat board. I must admit being surprised over the uproar over sending children to Cleveland. Again, a top school in USD, 1 sentence please. Perhaps we should be grateful for some of the problems we have. Cleveland is a top tier school. In some people's eyes, perhaps we don't have a problem at all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cascafield. I have 2 children at Crocker. As a parent, I started my first child at Crocker at 2005 at a time when many neighborhood families were looking at and attending private schools. We chose to go public and we never looked back. Now, most new neighbors don't even question where their kids will go to school. Crocker has truly become a neighborhood school. My living room looks over the Crocker playground. That's how close I live to the school, and I've seen firsthand the magic that happens there. I've seen this community grow and flourish. Our PTA is active and involved. Our teachers and students are supported, and our principal is superior. A perfect gem of a school that now has the overcrowding curse. It happened at Hillcrest a few years back, and maybe it's still happening there. At Hillcrest, it happened organically. It happened because more neighbors moved into the neighborhood. I can understand that. I can understand when boundaries are changed and the rules change, and now our gem is tarnished. Something needs to be done. All of these parents here, I'm safe. My kids are there. I feel very sorry for the parents that are moving in, who are now uncertain and are now wondering where their kids will go to school. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Victor Lobo. I'm the parent of a 4.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, hopefully future Crocker Elementary students. I grew up in Chicago in a neighborhood very similar to Crocker Elementary, and I'm a product of a public high school, and it's really defined who I am as a person, as a father today. And while living in San Francisco for the past few years, I never have thought about moving to Oakland, and driving by I would always kind of drive fast. We found a home. We found a place we want to raise our kids, and we found a place where we want our children to be like us. And that's very rare. And while you're here today, listen to us, and it sounds like it's a very passionate plea. There is really a problem here behind what's going on. And there needs to be a solution. We talked about a short-term solution. We talked about a long-term solution. But there needs to be a solution where you could accommodate us, have us live there, and have us raise our kids like we were raised by our parents and how you were raised today. If this solution is not resolved, and I've been fortunate to wake up every day happy living in Crocker Elementary, a Crocker neighborhood, we may have to move. And that's going to be devastating for us and my family. We're not sure how that's going to affect us in the future. And I'm sure it's going to be a similar circumstance to a lot of families here. We ask you to look at this. It's a very real problem, and come up with a solution where you can make us all happy. I thank you for listening to us.
Good evening, directors. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for the introduction. I'm the Oakland City Council member who represents the area that Crocker Highlands is in, as well as Cleveland and Lincoln, and then schools on the east side of the lake. I'm here to say that I support Director Kakishiba's request to bring this report back to you. And I know that you have such difficult decisions to make, and that you are trying to look at the benefit of all the children that live in Oakland. And I think that that when this report comes to you, and if it has enough data in it for you to be able to really, evaluate what is the best solution, not only for Crocker, but for the surrounding schools, that a decision can be made that will help fix the Crocker situation, but that will also benefit other schools, such as Piedmont Avenue, I think, potentially. So my request is that the report does contain enough information about the number of preschool age students as well as school age students in the original Crocker boundary, and then also in the annexed area between Lakeshore and Grand, which is also in my council district, and also the relevant areas that would affect Piedmont Avenue, Cleveland, and other surroundings, maybe even Glenview, other surrounding schools. The issue that I think is so critical here is that because of the uncertainty that has been created by having, twice as many families in the area as the school can handle, is that the net result is very likely to be fewer total families choosing Oakland Public Schools. I think that many of the families, in the face of that uncertainty, will choose to move or go to private schools. And so I'm really hoping you can find a solution that is going to maximize the number of Oakland families that choose Oakland Public Schools. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Judy Kane. I think I'm the only gray-haired in this audience, and that's because I moved to the neighborhood in 1976 for the same reason that
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, I said I'm Judy Kane.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
I moved to the neighborhood for the same reason that all of these young people have moved to the neighborhood. I wanted to raise my children there. I was committed to public education philosophically. I think it's what has made American democracy possible. And there was never a doubt in my mind that I was going to send my children to that little school up there on Midcrest. And, it wasn't even a very good school back then. But it didn't matter to us. None of us really cared because it was my school. It was our school. It was where I was going to send my kids, and we would make it a happy school and a safe place for our kids to go. And we worked towards that, just as these people have worked for this. And what makes me really happy is that the work that we've been doing since the 70s has continued and continued until now the school is so successful that people don't even want to go to private school anymore. They want to go to public schools. What a concept. And so that kind of success, I feel, needs to be rewarded by the board. I think we should really congratulate the teachers that made this outcome possible. Instead, I feel like the board, with this decision, pulled the rug out from under them and from the kids and from all of us that worked so hard for the school in the past. And I'm so glad you have it within your power to redress this wrong and right it. I'm glad you have that power, and I think you will do it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.